Guys, we are back here at Historic Helicopters, and there is a lot going on today, so I thought I'd bring you guys along because what they're going to be doing is something called an NDT on 4 aircraft here in this hangar. NDT stands for non-destructive testing, but I won't pretend like I know exactly what that is. So what we're going to do, we're going to go and find Irish and find out exactly what's going on. Making these videos for you guys is pretty hectic, so whether I'm flying in a helicopter or driving a 600 horsepower Land Rover, I'm always keeping my holy energy handy, but more on that later. So I do know that the 4 aircraft that they're doing this NDT on is the Wessex here, 597, which is the aircraft that we had the fortune of going up in just at the end of the last year. I'll put a link to that video, and also a Sea King that we've not featured on the channel at all yet, which is this one, which I'm very eager to find out about. And in fact, here's the man now. Irish, you need to tell us about everything what's going on today. All right, dude, so look, we've got an NDT happening today,
Yeah,
is that right?
it is NDT day at Historic Helicopters. We don't do an NDT, non-destructive testing ourselves. It's a specialised skill. So we get a company in, and we get all our NDT put into one package. They come in for the day,
right,
and they do all the NDTs we need. So we've got 314.
So can you tell us, because this aircraft has not been featured on my channel really at all.
No, so
what's the story with this?
So this is 314. It's an ex-Royal Navy Mark IV Sea King, what they would have called junglies back in the day for carrier Marines. If you check out Historic Helicopters Facebook, there is a full in-depth video about this aircraft.
Nice.
And all its capabilities and troop carrying functions. So this aircraft is going to be going into what we call a depth 1,
okay,
which is every 4 years. We'll be doing, we strip it down, check there's no corrosion, cracks, fatigue.
Okay.
Any life components we change, and then we carry out a massive maintenance package. So we went through the D1, pulled out what NDT's due on it, get all the bits ready. The guys will come in, they'll do their thing, and then we can refit the aircraft, and that satisfies the NDT for the depth.
Okay.
But 597, it's got blade dampers. It's for the drag on the blades, stop them swinging around, and it just smooths everything down.
So is that something in here that's stopping?
Yeah, so it's basically a shock absorber, similar to what you could have in a car. We've got five of them attached to the aircraft.
Okay.
They have 600 flying hours between needing NDT. So the last time they were done was a very long time ago. They were probably taken off.
Right.
So they've been taken off. They'll get NDT'd.
And I'm guessing they're coming off the actual heads up there, is that right?
The heads up there. I can show you up there in a minute where
Brilliant.
they fit. There's a massive hole where they used to be. We've got the college students from Bridgewater.
Cool. Excellent.
Hey
guys.
they've had a good experience of actually getting to see big things taken off helicopters.
Yeah.
They're up there cleaning where it was.
Okay.
So I can show you up there where they come off. So they're going to get done. Some bits of flying controls as well from 314.
Okay.
That'll get done. And then we have the blades.
Oh, rotor blades.
Yeah, rotor blades.
Now, you said it's a company that comes in to do this.
Yes.
And obviously the name NDT. So they're doing it via not taking things apart in order to check.
Yeah, so it's in the name. It's non-destructive testing.
Yeah.
So they'll come in, so the blades are going to have X-ray done to them.
Right.
It's in the name, everyone knows what an X-ray is.
Of course.
It's obviously not a big machine that they have in the hospital that show you broken bones, but it will show you cracks. And things in the
Okay,
blades.
and that's what we're looking for, is cracks and imperfections.
Yeah, so it's on the blades.
Yep.
And then the Wessex itself is having some bits done to some of the frames inside, and then we'll open up the panels, and that'll allow for the gearbox feet and things.
Nice.
And they're having the ultrasonic ready.
Ultrasonic. So we've got X-rays, we've got ultrasonics, so this company is quite a specialist company.
Yeah, definitely specialist.
Definitely specialist.
And the guys that do it are specialist engineers.
Specialist engineers.
They know exactly, and we send them the procedures. They know exactly what they're looking at. They've done it. Most of them have done it for 20, 30 years.
Right, brilliant.
They come in, they know what they're doing, zap it, done.
Cool.
They're happy.
So these guys are a specialist business, so I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to be able to film of this process today, but Irish doesn't mind being on camera, so we can pester him. And Irish, you've not actually been on the channel before, so what's your role here at Historic Helicopters?
I've come back to Historic Helicopters after a short hiatus.
Nice.
Yeah, I run a couple of businesses in Cornwall, so I took a bit of time off to get them set up and running. And then Ollie asked me before Christmas if I fancy coming back up and helping out, just being a bit of continuity, boots on the ground.
Yep.
So I've worked at Historic Helicopters on and off for 3 years. So I know the systems, I know the aircraft.
Yep.
I know my way around the hangar.
Yep.
And,
and were you in the forces previously?
Yeah, I was in the Navy for a very short time. years ago, and then when I left the Navy, I worked as a civilian alongside the RAF and the Royal Navy doing search and rescue.
Oh, wow.
And other contracts.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
So Sea Kings.
Sea Kings, you know these beasts then.
Sea Kings wise, and I got told in 2009 by a very good friend of mine, don't go on Sea Kings because they're going out of service and you'll never make a career out of them.
Oh, right.
So we're almost 20 years later, and I'll even tell him, Ross, that's it.
That's it.
I was right, you were wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still working in aircraft.
You're still working on Sea Kings, and there's plenty of them here. So I think we'll go and have a look at the heads in a minute. While I'm in between these two beauties, I need to tell you about this beauty right here. So this is the Holy Thermo Shaker that you can get for a limited time right now with the Starter Deluxe package. And if you don't know what Holy is, let me tell you. It is a healthy alternative to the crap that you get at the shops. It is super easy to do. All you do is take a sachet, grab your Thermo Shaker, you pour it in, screw the lid on, give it a shake, and you get this absolutely amazing taste. I absolutely love this stuff. 57 flavors in the Starter Deluxe package, only 20 calories per sachet. And in that Starter Deluxe pack, you've got your milkshake, your iced tea, your hydration, which I'm a huge fan of, and your energy as well. So, Irish, get your lips around this, buddy. How's that, dude?
Bitching. You can't contain yourself, can you?
So good. So that is Holy Energy. Go and get some. You genuinely like it as well.
Yeah.
It is genuinely good stuff. The Thermo Shakers are great. Use code Hamilton for 10% off your order, or Hamilton5 for £5 off your first order of $14.99. Go and get some Holy, guys.
Yeah, you can come up.
I'm going to film you up the stairs. Let's go. Right, guys, we're actually going up to have a look at the head of 597. This is quite cool. Well, Irish, again, I'm never going to pretend to know what I'm looking at here, so you're going to have to talk us through it, and everyone can learn along as well at home.
So this is the main rotor head. This is where the blade's attached to.
Yep.
Sticking out this way. So as you can see on the blades, as I was saying, the Sea King has a fully articulated head, which means that it moves in almost all directions.
Okay.
So it goes up and down, a bit heavy. But it'll move up and down, and it'll go side to side.
Oh, yeah.
Can't go too far because the dampers aren't fitted and it'll pull in the hydraulic lines.
Okay.
So basically, this is what we call drag. So when the aircraft starts moving, the blades are naturally going to go back and forward in flight.
Yeah.
So the damper attaches on here and bolts in there.
Okay.
Which is why there's a massive hole, because there's no dampers.
Yep.
So the damper will basically, so whatever the head's trying to spin, blade will move around. And if the damper's not fitted, like it's not fitted now, you'll see that would just swing around in the breeze.
And that would be no good for
flight,
it'd be no
good. So you've got the damper in, big shock absorber. So as it pushes back on it, rather than it slamming back, pushes back and it just gives it that little smoothness, because you want smooth flight.
Okay. So when you said just like the suspension of a car, it literally is.
It literally is, yeah. So it's hydraulic. Suspension of the car is only springs.
Springs, yeah.
Springs, but
unless it's a Citroen, I suppose, is what we
can.
Basically, this is a Sea King Citroen, guys.
Old-fashioned Citroen. The smoothest suspension ever invented.
It's true.
Really difficult to maintain.
Yeah. Well, it's exactly this.
It is similar. So basically, it's got hydraulics. It's got a reservoir up there, and that just allows the flow. And then we also use it. The dampers get used for the blade fold and spread. So when you go to fold the blades, because we don't have enough room in the hangars, so the blades are folded, like the Sea King over there. To put that into spread mode, it fully extends the dampers, and that puts all the blades in the right position.
In the right position.
Yeah, because if you didn't do that, the weight would drag them around.
And again, not to plug my last video in 597, but if you are interested in seeing a blade folder on a Sea King, we did actually film that in that video. So again, the link for that is in the description, so you guys can check that out. So yeah, this is quite cool. And what are these guys doing?
So these guys are from Bridgewater College.
Is this better than being at college?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. That was the right answer.
Yeah.
That was the right answer.
Yeah. Too much of a pause.
Yeah, there was a bit of hesitation there, guys.
I would have answered a lot quicker than that. So these guys are doing aeronautical engineering at college. They're in their second year. Unfortunately, this is the Bridgewater's last year of doing that specific course. There's other colleges around that do it. We've got another lad comes in every Wednesday. He's doing a level 2. And they can be a great help sometimes, like cleaning. But we try to help them out as much as possible. And I'm really nice to them, aren't I?
Yeah, definitely.
Is he really nice?
Yeah, definitely.
Really? Okay, there was no pause that
There's
time,
no
so that's
pause.
good. So that's happening on 597, and then we've got rotor blades on the Wessex.
No, rotor blades on the Scout.
Sorry, rotor blades on the Scout.
And then the gearbox in below the head there, that's got some NDT on it. Just
Okay, great.
cracking.
Nice. I think we might need to learn a little bit about the Scout because I don't think I've ever featured that helicopter as
Yeah.
well. So we'll do a little walk around that, guys, and then we'll wait for this company to arrive. Do we know what the company's called?
No idea.
No idea.
That's an Ollie question.
That's an Ollie question. All right, guys, brilliant. Okay, Irish. So as I said, I don't actually know anything about this aircraft. What can you tell us about it?
So this is it's a Westland Scout. It sort of predates the Lynx. Lynx would replace this.
Yeah.
So this is the Army variant of it. And then you've got a naval variant, which is the Wasp. Looks similar, but it's up on stilts and it has wheels on it. So it's a single engine, single pilot. It does have dual controls. So you can have two pilots, but it can be operated as single pilot. In the back of it, you've got very little room for the rear seats, which also doubles up as a stretcher. So you can do medevacs and things in it.
Okay. What sort of year would this have been in operation?
They would have flown in the 80s.
So this would have been like Hueys.
Hueys, yeah, American Huey time.
So hang on, so American got Hueys and we got this.
Yeah, we got this, and obviously we all anyone that has any sort of enthusiasm about a helicopter, they love a Huey. The Americans still produce them. You see them in all the American movies. You don't see many Scouts in a British war movie. No. So that's.
They're not quite as sexy, are they?
No, not as sexy.
They're not as sexy.
But do you know, as far as historic helicopters go, not as us as a charity, but in the broader term,
Yes.
they are quite popular. They're not massively expensive. You can still get qualified in them. We can still get most parts for them. And they're relatively easy maintained, and we do maintain several. I think we've got 10 of them on the books now.
Wow.
Wasps and Scouts.
Wow. So the Army and the Navy versions.
The Army and Navy versions of it.
Right. Okay, guys. So we have kind of messed up a little bit, haven't we? Because we're not actually allowed to film in the building while they're doing their non-destructive testing because they're using X-ray and other things. So
told us they don't want to turn anyone green and stay away.
So we're not very good at this, to be honest with you guys, but it's fine. So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to come back on Monday, and we're actually going to see if there were any issues with any of the parts. So talking about the shock absorbers in the head, some rotor blades as well across the 4 different aircraft. But you have something here which I think is quite interesting. Let's have a look.
So this is the reading we get from the X-ray. So this is an X-ray off a main rotor blade off a Scout or a Wasp. But we've got it marked on there where the X-rays picked up excessive corrosion, makes the blade unserviceable. And so it's getting to see through things that you wouldn't normally be able to see with your eye.
Right. Okay. So where actually is the corrosion on it?
So the corrosion's down in. Put it up to the light. You might be able to see it. There's a little line down there, and you'll be able to see it's just excess corrosion.
Yeah. I see. So that's what these guys are looking for right now. Is that? Okay, that's really interesting. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to swing back in on Monday. We'll have another catch up with Irish and find out exactly what's going on and what the next steps are for this. You know, what happens if you find excessive corrosion? I'm guessing that can put the heels on a project pretty quickly.
It depends if it's repairable. So on an aircraft fuselage, we can do sheet metal work to repair structures and different things. If it's in a blade, unfortunately, the blades are that old that there's not a blade bay that can take them apart and fix them anymore. So that normally makes the blade unserviceable for life. Yeah. And you have to procure a new old one. Right. An old new one, whatever way you want to put it.
An old new one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, look, on that, just tell me where the fuel tank is for this one. I'm going to chuck some of this in it, and then we'll be all good. Where does this go, Irish? In here somewhere, does it?
I would love to tell you, but I don't think that's an approved additive.
You have some of those. What we're going to do, we're going to pick this back up in a couple of days' time and find out exactly what's going on. Thank you, Irish. I appreciate it. You've got some holy, and you keep yourself hydrated, buddy.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. See you in a minute.
Several days later.
Okay, guys, so we are back here at Historic Helicopters a few days later, and we're going to find out exactly what went down with that NDT. Irish, I think I can see you up there.
Yeah.
Are we coming up?
Yeah, come on up.
Let's go. All right, dude, we're back at 597.
Yeah, 597. So last time you were here, we had all the dampers removed on the bench, ready for NDT.
Yeah.
NDT went swimmingly on them.
Nice.
Yeah, it hadn't been off in 600 hours. So some of them were a little bit more tricky to get off than others. Yeah. But we got them all off, took them on the bench, got the NDT done. They've all been fitted again. All the wire locking's been done. All the torque checks have been done. The whole system has been bled. All we need to do now is get the blades on and do some functional tests and take her flying.
Brilliant. So I'm definitely going to want to come back for that bit because flying in this is just an absolutely incredible thing. So that's 597. So 597's all good.
Yep.
The next one we were talking about was
We were on
the Wessex.
Yep, the Wessex. So the Wessex had just some various bits of NDT on main lift frames and bits. They've done their little wizardry, and it's all come back good.
All good.
There's a couple of little bits on 314.
Yep, which is the green one.
King.
Yep. We can see everything from up here. This is great. This is a great place to be.
Yeah, so 314, it only had a couple of little bits that needed done. The tail yoke, it's been reinstalled, put back, it's come off jacks. So that's it, ready to go into its depth. We pulled the NDT early, so we get the depth done without having to get the NDT guys to come back down. Saves us some money.
Then it was rotor blades, I think.
Rotor blades. The rotor blades are still down
So far, we're 3 for 3. Everything's come back good.
So around here, we've got the Scout rotor blades.
Yep.
This is where they done the X-ray.
Yes.
So yeah, they all got cleaned, polished, put on the little racks. I don't know if you've seen the X-ray machine, but they've all come back.
We weren't allowed to. We messed up. We weren't allowed to film.
So we had the phone call yesterday, the day before, saying that all the X-ray was good, and we just need to wait for the paperwork to come, probably in a fax machine because everything's old-fashioned.
Of course.
We'll get all that through, then we can sign it off to say that everything's serviceable, get these fitted to the custom aircraft, and get that aircraft out of our hangar.
Oh, so these rotor blades aren't for this?
Aren't for that one there.
They're not for that one.
For one that's in the other hangar.
In the other hangar.
And it was going through.
But it's the same as that one,
Yeah.
which is what we discussed as the same generation as a Huey, and it just looks like it's about 50 million years older than a Huey.
I think it was 1960s.
1960s. 1960s. Now, so that pretty much concludes all the stuff that we were talking about when we were here a couple of days ago. But there is some important stuff that we do need to talk about, and that is the fact that if you guys want to actually come and have a look around here, you have some open days.
Yeah, we have 5 more open days this year. If you go on our website, historichelicopters.com, go to the events section, you'll be able to book tickets in advance. And
I think there's one in May. Is that the next one? May?
March.
March, even. Sorry. No, you're right. March.
One in March. So you can come down. You get a cup of coffee when you arrive. You get shown around the hangars. The volunteers show you things. You get to take photographs. You get to poke things and prod things. And
you don't get to poke. Do they get to poke things?
Oh, there you go.
They can poke some things. You can poke some things, guys.
So you come in, you have a look around the aircraft, and then afterwards you have a light lunch, and that's it.
Happy days. Well, look, guys, if you actually want to come here, and it's well worth a visit. And also, we've got Yeovilton just down the road as well, so if they could come for a day, couldn't
Fleet
they?
Air Arm Museum's just up the road, so you can come down on Saturday morning, join us here, go to the Fleet Air Arm Museum afterwards. They've got a massive collection of things that don't fly.
Happy days. Well, this has not been a flying video, obviously. We have done a very, very much more a technical sort of overview of lots of different aircraft here, so very much a different kind of pace for my channel. But I thought actually it'd be really, really interesting, especially with someone like you who actually knows what they're talking about. We can all kind of learn and go along with it, but we will be getting back up in the air very, very soon. But this is the very real world meat of the sandwich that has to get done in order for these aircraft to keep flying.
100%.
So this is really a lot of what it's about. It's all well and good getting up in the air, but without guys like Irish and work like NDTs and billions of other things, these aircraft would just be stationary and rotting away in museums. So it's really, really cool to actually take a look and see what actually goes on behind the scenes. So guys, thank you so much for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Go and check out Historic Helicopters website. Do you have an Instagram, Irish?
I don't personally have an Instagram. Historic Helicopters has
Historic Helicopters has an
Instagram and Facebook. Facebook's our big one because of our aging demographic of clientele.
And on that note, I think we'll sign off. Irish, thanks, bro. I really appreciate it. Cheers, guys.